been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope everyone's staying safe, having a blessed day. Looks like it's about to rain right now, but
We're trying to beat the storm out.
we're here. We obviously didn't record Tuesday or Thursday.
We have a lot of changes coming to our podcast room. We have construction going on above us,
Yeah.
ripping out the ceiling and doing some more lighting and stuff in here. And
We also got addicted to some new episodes of Naked and Afraid. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we could blame that. We even reached out to some of those people, actually.
Yeah,
It's
trying
just
to get
very,
on.
very intriguing, but we hope everyone's having a blessed Friday. It is currently Friday, our time. This will probably be up later tonight. YouTube, obviously, on Saturday. But, yeah, want to kick us off over there?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the elephant in the room. We were talking about this earlier. What's going on in Minnesota is absolutely disgusting and horrible, and hopefully justice is served. It's just, the world is becoming a real ugly place. There's too much hate. And sometimes it's hard to even sit back and fathom what's going on. And you just see the disgust in people. And it's hard to explain. I wish we were past all this. I really do.
Yeah.
Just people need to love each other more and stop hating, and I'm not a big fan of any of this stuff. It's disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, for people who don't know, I'm a Christian, and it's hard to talk about because you see the hate, you see the evil in this world. And me personally, the best thing I can offer is that I pray for these people. I pray for the families. And as much as I want to be angry and want to lash out at people, I just try and let God handle this, because it's a sickening world as humans, how we allow things like this to happen. And like I said, I pray for the families and just for Minnesota in general in this country.
You know what? We could have a whole podcast on this, and I don't want to go down that road.
Yeah, we had a good debate before we came on, and we decided that we weren't really going to talk about it because it's frustrating and sensitive to talk about right now. I feel like
The thing that I'm really disgusted with, and we'll end it with that, is I'm disgusted with both races, really. What happened is definitely wrong. He needs to be put in jail. He needs to be prosecuted, and whatever happens to him. But what's going on now, it's like it's no longer about the death of George Taylor. And that's what becomes sad, because now the only thing you're hearing about now in the news is the looting and the fires and the stuff that's going on. So all the focus is taken off exactly what happened and what should be done, And that's what disappoints me, because there are ways to get your point across, and looting and violence and more violence, and it's not the way to go. And it's just sad for America. It really is.
Actually, correction real quick, just so people don't freak out. It was George Floyd.
It's George Floyd. What'd I say?
You said George Taylor. I don't know.
Oh,
who
I'm
that
sorry.
is.
Yeah, George Floyd. I'm sorry.
But
it's just everything is taken off of what's more important and what happened, and now everyone, like all the news, is just focused on, what's going on now.
yeah, and I'm sure we could easily have people on this podcast call in, and we could chat for hours about it. What's cool is actually tonight I'm part of the youth team at my church. We have lots of campuses, and they're actually having a black pastor and a white pastor have a good educational conversation. So you see it from both sides, and I think that's awesome for the youth. But like I said, it's tough to talk about, and I'm not saying that as in I agree with everything that's going on. It's so frustrating to see what is happening in this world nowadays that it shocks my mind. And I told him today that I really just don't want to talk about it because, I'm not trying to have a fight on the comments with people. No. I'm not trying to lose friends over this. At the end of the day, I think it's wrong what happened, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to pray for everybody and just hope that everyone does well.
Yeah, me too. I hope all the violence out there stops, and all the violence in L.A. and other places where it's kicking off now. There's ways to do it the right way, and you want to get your voice heard. There's ways to do it. There's platforms to do it. You hear professional athletes speaking out against it. You hear professional teams speaking out against it. And there are ways to do it without more violence and more stupidity, basically.
Yeah. Well, I had my hard seltzer, and I'm ready to kick this podcast off.
Yeah. First, we're going to get into CBS Sports came out with the best triplets in the NFL. And triplets can be definitely a quarterback.
Running back and receiver, running back, tight end type of thing.
I
or
believe the way
tight
they
end,
did it, it
receiver,
could be two
quarterback?
receivers or a running back and a quarterback. It doesn't necessarily have to be a running back.
Feels weird having this wall above us now. I feel like I actually can't see you. Like we're in two different rooms.
It's actually darker in here now since I knocked that wall down. But anyway,
Oh, you just pointed it more. There you go. Yeah, just cut my light out.
the top 10. You want to take a guess? Who's number 10?
Now, do you know how they made the list? Like, do you see mostly running backs, tight ends, and quarterbacks, or do you see wide receiver, running back, quarterback?
Everything that I see
Is different,
is definitely a quarterback and a receiver.
but it's a trio, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like two receivers and a
well, it
quarterback.
could be. It could be. It doesn't necessarily have to be a running back.
Why don't you do the
All right, I'll give you the top 10.
do 10 through 4, 10 through
10 through
6.
5. I'll do 10 through 5, and you guess the
I'll
bottom
guess-
4.
Yeah, okay.
Number 10, they're saying is the Pittsburgh Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger coming back. You have James Conner and you have Juju Smith. Everyone's projecting Juju Smith to have a
Really?
breakout year. That
They
they're
picked
saying
those three as number 10?
they're saying Juju's going to have a great year because Ben's coming back.
I'd be shocked if...
I'm on the Pittsburgh bandwagon.
I think Pittsburgh will be
and
good.
and I said this when
That's-
Alex was on. I said that I think Pittsburgh's going to win that division.
I think they'll be good. I think it's up to Ben.
I think they're going to split with Baltimore. Pittsburgh has a defense, and that's what's going to carry them.
Yeah.
The offense, I mean, they went 7-9 last year with a bunch of scrub backups. So with Ben coming back, if Ben can stay healthy, and did you see the pictures of James Conner?
Yeah.
Dude, he's ripped. His
back.
back is like it's
Huge.
disgusting looking. That's how big it is.
Well, you see Saquon Barkley was squatting 6 plates on each side.
Yeah, but
My legs were shaking watching it.
I think if Ben stays healthy, they're going to be the team to beat because I think they can beat Baltimore at home.
My thing is, though, there's a lot of holes in Pittsburgh, I feel like. Obviously, great defense. Easily top 5 defense, okay?
Yeah.
But is Juju going to live up to that number 1 hype? Do they have a number 2 receiver? Is Connor going to come back and play well? You know, Big Ben's coming off, what is Tommy John, basically?
Yeah,
Rotator cuff? Like, is he going to
He's
live
been
up to
throwing.
that? I know he's been throwing, but is he throwing in the game? You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a lot to be answered with Pittsburgh.
Well, he said that he wasn't going to shave his head or his beard
Until
until
he
he
could throw again.
And he did. He went and got a haircut, and the governor of Pennsylvania, Wolf, actually ripped into him for freaking going against the governor's order and getting a haircut. And actually, the owners of the Pittsburgh Steelers actually reached out to Ben and kind of yelled at him a little bit and said that was just
as
a
long
dumb
as
move.
if they followed the guidelines, which I don't
Yeah.
think they did, but
Number 9, of course, you knew they were going to make the list. Tampa Bay with Brady, Godwin, and Vaughn, who is their running back. I can see that. I could see them being in the top for the triplets.
why did they pick that? Why not Brady, Gronk, and Evans, or Godwin, Evans, and Brady?
I don't know.
Why Vaughn?
I don't know.
I don't even know who Vaughn is.
Yeah. Number 8, and I don't understand this at all. The Philadelphia Eagles.
Really?
Yeah. They have Wentz, Sanders, and Ertz. They really don't have a good receiver. I mean, you can't put the rookie down because he hasn't done anything yet.
How are they gonna?
You have Jeffries still there, and you have Deshaun Jackson
I'm
who can't stay
intrigued
healthy.
to see who was under the top 10. Hurts, you don't know how he's gonna play. Sanders, good running back. Wentz, I feel like still has a lot to prove because he's injured almost every year.
What? No, I think last year he did prove he's a good quarterback. I mean, when you take a team with
That's
with,
true. That's
with
true.
the
That's
receiving
true.
core that they had,
I'm shocked about that one, but let's continue. I'm shocked about that one.
I was surprised. And when I said I'm surprised with this one, it wasn't a bad thing.
No,
I'm surprised they're at 8. I think they can actually be up higher
I don't.
because the next team on the list is the Green Bay Packers.
Is it Jones, Aaron Rodgers, and
Davante Adams.
Davante Adams.
Yes.
That's a good one. That is a good one. They wrecked Dallas.
Number 6, good old Atlanta.
I told you.
Always every year they look like they're going to be a good
You
team.
could have
and
a
they
quad
fall.
in there with Ridley, Julio, Matt Ryan, and
You have,
what's
you
his
have
name?
Ryan Gurley and Julio.
That's a great trio right there. I'm telling you, man. NFC South is where it's going to be. Everyone's like Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, New Orleans. Number 1, you can't sleep on Carolina. Number 3, you cannot sleep on Atlanta. I know that they've been struggling. Matt Ryan, he's always a good Pro Bowl quarterback. He can put up stuff. You know, he's been dealing with offensive line. Their defense was completely injured 2 years ago. You got a good running back now if he stays healthy in Todd Gurley. 2 great receivers. That team looks good, man. That team looks and they got Treadwell, former first-round pick from Minnesota that didn't work out well.
See, I think on this ranking, I could easily put.
Oh,
I could put.
not to cut you off. They got Hurst too
Yeah.
from Baltimore.
I could put Philadelphia right there at number 6. I could put them in front of Green Bay and Atlanta.
Where are we at right now?
We're number 6.
Okay, who's number 6?
Atlanta.
New Orleans, top 5.
Number 5 is the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar, Ingram, and Andrews. The tight
What about
end.
Hollywood?
Yeah. He hasn't been there long
I'm going
enough.
to say New Orleans is number 3.
Number 4, and this is another one I'm surprised they're this high. Seattle.
Where's the Browns?
Russell Wilson, Lockett, and Carson. The Browns aren't in the top 10.
Oh, listen, that mind blows me because not trying to step on the Eagles here, but the Browns. Baker Mayfield, obviously, it's a 50-50, but Nick Chubb, Odell Beckham, they got Austin Hooper.
But see, it goes off of they gave each player a ranking, a 1 through 10 ranking.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm glad I don't have that job.
they gave I think Russell Wilson, he got a 10.
Who's the 3 there?
They have Wilson, Lockett, and Carson. Exactly.
I don't know.
I think Seattle.
He got injured.
I think Seattle's high.
I think
really
Seattle's a good team. Don't get me wrong. Russell Wilson does a lot of magic over there with not much talent, but I don't know.
This shocks me. Here's your top 3. You want to guess who number 3 is?
Okay, so
We already did Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, the Eagles, Green Bay, Atlanta, Baltimore, Seattle.
You're gonna have New Orleans, Kansas City, and I could say the Bills being up there for some reason. Was I close?
Bills not in top 10.
Was I close to those 2 though?
No.
No?
I'm not going to tell you the other one, Jeb.
All right, read me them off.
Number 3 is the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, you got to give it to them.
They gave 9s across the board to Dak, Cooper, and Zeke. See, I don't agree with Cooper.
I don't either. I think Dak.
And I agree with Dak to a point, but I don't agree.
Obviously, Zeke, one of the best running backs in the league. Cooper is a good receiver, maybe top 10 receiver. He got paid, I think, a little bit too much. Dak. I could see Dak being a top 10 quarterback.
See, my thing about Dak is Dak against teams last year with horrible defenses threw for 22 touchdowns and I think 3 picks. Against teams with good defenses, he threw 8 touchdowns, 8 picks.
Yeah, that will do it. That's a good stat to have.
He can't prove himself against the good teams, which, I'm leery about this because they had chances last year to easily could have won 11 games last year.
New Orleans
and they didn't come through.
New Orleans number 1.
Number 2 team is your New Orleans Saints.
Oh, yeah.
They have Drew Brees,
Michael Thomas and Kamara.
the slant guy, and Alvin.
It's a good trio. You got to agree it's a good trio.
It is. Yeah,
Because
if that's the kind of offense you want to run, yeah, it is.
you think Drew Brees can throw deep? You think he can throw a
Not
slant?
anymore.
He still throws it. He
Okay.
still throws it.
And your number 1 team, which I don't even know who the running back is for this team.
Kansas City?
Kansas City.
Well, they drafted that guy who's good.
Mahomes, Hill, and I don't even know who the running
Clary
back
or
was.
whatever. It's like a weird long last name. But wait, who is it? Mahomes and Hill?
Hill.
Dude, Tyreek Hill, man. I get him on Madden as much as I can because he's got like 99 speed in that game. I knew Kansas City would be up there. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl. You know what's weird is actually, before I go to bed, I watch a lot of YouTube, either football or baseball highlights. And what popped up was somebody was filming, the walkway for the 49ers when they lost the Super Bowl where they walk off the field. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at some of these players, not just like the people who start. Obviously, like I was looking at people who like were sweaty or had grass stains who played. And out of all those players, I want to say like maybe 3 of those players actually looked upset losing the Super Bowl. And it came across my mind like, do these guys even care?
They get bonuses just for making the Super Bowl.
Like Garoppolo up by didn't look that upset. There was like 2 guys. It was like Morissette looked really upset. One guy had a towel over his head. Richard Sherman didn't even look upset. Now I don't know what happened in the locker room or anything, but like I was just thinking like, are these guys do they even care if they lose Super Bowl?
I think some of them do. When you get there, you want to win it. Let's face it like that.
Yeah.
You want to win it.
I feel like I'm that
It's
guy that
important.
even though I'm getting paid a lot, like I could cry like Embiid, like losing that game to go to the Super Bowl. Like that's how passionate I am about like when I was playing sports.
I mean, you get a nice bonus if you win a Super Bowl. You make good money.
yeah, but I want to win. No,
The,
I mean
the thing that's weird though is like I'm gonna go from that triplets rating to ESPN's Power Index rating for the best chances of winning the Super Bowl this year, and I have the top 6 teams and their chances percentage wise.
top 6. Why didn't you do top 5
They have the Philadelphia Eagles as number 6
to win the Super Bowl?
to win a Super Bowl at a 5% chance to win a Super Bowl. They have Dallas at number 5 with a 5% chance to win a Super Bowl. They have the 49ers as a 12% chance, but they didn't make the list of the top triplets.
Well, what's weird with the 49ers is that
So you're
They're
basically
losing.
saying your defense is going to carry you?
they lost some defensive players, and they're talking about that they should trade Ford and they lost some offense. They lost Goodwin. They lost one of the running backs to Miami.
I already did my hot take. I said Arizona's going to win that division.
It's going to be Seattle and Arizona. I don't think the Rams will do it.
No, the Rams lost a lot. They're in salary cap. They're in salary cap hell.
Oh, just a little off-topic thing. I saw today that the Vikings came out and they said that they had no intentions of trading Diggs, even though they had some disagreements. They went that offseason not thinking about trading him. They said, but when Buffalo came to them and offered them that many draft picks, they said in between the salary cap, they said you have to do it. And they said that I don't know if it was the GM or the owner, but he said obviously the whole Twitter thing happened. Like there were some disagreements. He said, but he wasn't hard to get along with. Like we liked him, but he said when a team offers you that many draft picks and you can hope to get a receiver like Diggs in that draft, which they did. I think they picked up the LSU guy. You gotta do it, man, and get on their salary cap.
I don't know what happened to the phone. It just stopped. It started over.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, number 3. Your New Orleans Saints with a 13% chance to win the Super Bowl.
If they don't win it this year, they're done.
They have a good defense.
They do. They have a really good defense. Right. They pumped up that defense. They need to go out and sign either another cornerback, either Eli Apple, that guy from the Cincinnati Bengals. But go ahead.
Number 2 is your Baltimore Ravens, 17% chance to win the Super Bowl. And the number 1 team in the NFL to win the Super Bowl with the best percentage is your Kansas City Chiefs at 21%.
Who's in that division?
Kansas City's?
Yeah.
Kansas City?
Baltimore Ravens had to be the...
Isn't that Kansas City? Isn't that the Colts?
And like the Texans?
Texans.
And the Jaguars, right?
Chargers or something like that?
Something like that.
Jaguars. That's bad. We're a podcast, a sports podcast. Don't even know.
I don't know all the divisions, but let's be real though. I think the biggest upset last year wasn't even New England losing the first round. Baltimore, hottest team last year. I remember I was in the bowling alley for that, and I saw them get destroyed by Henry. Mm-hmm. Henry ran those playoffs, which is I'm still shocked. Actually, they're in negotiation talks, but I'm still shocked that Tannehill got paid over him. I mean, you don't let that guy go, but that was a shock. That's why I'm always on the fence when you get a first round bye to let your team sit. I mean, they let him sit, I think, the last week of the NFL season, and then you have a first round bye. Even that's 2 weeks of not playing. I'd at least have him play the first drive, like a preseason.
Yeah.
And then just that was a big shocker. But I'm intrigued. I think the New Orleans have a good chance this year.
Some more NFL stuff. We have the 4th and 15 rule has been tabled for now. They can't agree on it. They're actually looking into it more because you have the opportunity where you can actually score a touchdown on those plays. Where on the onside kick, when you kicked it, after you recovered it, the play was frozen. So, and they're concerned about you can go for like an 80-yard pass, score a touchdown. And then the other thing is they're concerned about officiating. Like if an official throws pass interference, what are they gonna? Is it gonna be a spot foul or is it gonna be a 15-yard pin? There's too much indecisiveness on what's going on.
They tried the Pro Bowl.
They're gonna table it for now, and they're gonna come back at it at a later time.
Well, I actually have a photo here of the rules that they did agree on. There is a rule here. There's 3 rules that they did agree on. Let me read this all. I need my glasses. Just kidding. The first rule is to make permanent the expansion of automatic replay reviews to include scoring plays and turnovers negotiated by a foul and any successful or unsuccessful try attempt. The second one here is to expand defensiveless players' protection to kickoff or punt return who is in possession of the ball but who has not made time to avoid or ward off the impending contact of an opponent. I'm assuming that means that, like, if a punter catches the ball, which is stupid, you have to give him like almost like a 2-second clock. He has to be able to move, like to defend himself, which sucks because like if I see a guy who didn't call fair catch, I'm drilling him.
Yeah.
But now it's almost like a rule where you have to let him look at you almost and like be able to avoid you, which sucks. But I mean, I get it. Safety, we're good with that safety. Third one here is it prevents teams from manipulating the game clock by committing multiple dead ball fouls while the clock is running.
Yeah.
I don't really know what that means. I feel stupid for not knowing that. And then there's one last thing here is to increase the number of players that may be designated for return from 2 to 3 players from like the IR. So yeah, there's that.
I just wish they tabled they tabled the onside kick thing, which is stupid because they keep comparing the stats from last year how the stats went down. But the onside kick itself changed. You couldn't stack that side of the field with your defenders, build the wall, run down full speed, make the they took the collision part out of it. which is understandable. So that's why the numbers were down as far as recoveries. But the thing that really aggravated me that they didn't even vote on was the Sky Judge. I love the fact the XFL had it, the AAF had it. You had that extra official up in the stands
Loved it.
that could see what was going on.
see
They
it
could
work
tell him,
twice,
hey,
work
pick
twice.
up that flag. It's not a penalty, or give his input and say, you know what, it was a penalty. I'm watching the review now. Call it.
Yeah, I think
That would make the game so much better.
I think the XFL showed a bunch of rules that worked well that I think the NFL should adopt. It. Number one, I thought the punt and kick returns were great. Number one, it eliminated injuries a lot less, in my opinion.
Well, the
Yeah.
XFL is also in the news.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon came out and said he is not trying to rebuy it at a cheaper price from bankruptcy. But there are dozens of people who are looking into buying the league and bringing it back in 2021.
It'd be smart, like you said, with all the college players who aren't going to get a chance to play and show the potential. I mean, you think about
Well, more colleges are opening up now, but it's just for the players. And actually, college is actually cutting other athletic sports like tennis and swimming.
I think baseball's
and
probably not
soccer
going to
and-
happen for them.
Yeah, they're cutting a lot of sports.
Michigan University came out and said there's no kids at school, there will be no football. What do you think about that?
I don't know.
I think if you can have football, why not have it? Just don't have school. They could do it online.
Well, but there's a lot of things that they have to still figure out. Like Ohio State came out and said they're going to have 20 to 50,000 fans in their stadium. How are you going to go about doing that? You know, Texas, the governor Abbott of Texas came out and said all sports will be opening up soon, and that he's going to allow 25% of the fans into the stadiums. You know, but there's going to be no vendings. You're gonna have people delivering food to you. You're gonna sit.
There's gonna be a lot of money lost.
It's gonna be weird. It really is.
You know what we haven't talked
You know,
about too is we talked about college football players who like are on the fence of being drafted, not getting drafted. You know, who need another year to show talent. What about baseball players who were on the fence, who needed one more year to possibly get drafted in the MLB draft? Where do they go from this? You know, obviously, like from local areas like here, the Iron Pigs always have tryouts. A lot of minor leagues always have tryouts. But for college kids, is there like an undrafted free agent thing like football? Is that a thing?
Well, when you're in college, if you're good, some teams already own the rights to you, so they could still go into the farms. But I don't know what's gonna happen with the farm systems, because in baseball, and we'll get into baseball.
But I'm
later on.
talking about like players who not a lot of teams are looking at. You know what I mean? They're on the fence. Like they might get drafted, but they might not. They need like another good full season.
Yeah.
And baseball's not happening right now for college, as far as I'm concerned.
No, it's not.
So
but-
like that sucks for them, who they don't get another chance to show the scouts like I can get drafted. You know what I mean? And they think about usually they have. Usually they have those games that like almost like a showcase game, like you know how they had the Senior Bowl.
Oh, plus they have the summer leagues and stuff like that.
But like if we get to that, let's hope. But they should have like a good summer league for scouts for college kids.
I think majority of these kids are going to have to go play overseas.
Which sucks. I don't want to go overseas. Like if I was a college guy, I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, but you're going to get paid. The problem is
Wait,
like
isn't there independent ball you could play for?
yeah, but in the United States, is it open? No one knows. But like you're seeing now, the minor leaguers are getting cut by their organizations. They're not paying them anymore.
I mean, we've heard rumors too of like players in Blue Mountain who, if you're good enough, you get some scouts.
Oh yeah.
So if you're
we've seen scouts right in our backyard.
If you're a good college kid and you're like dominating, going to Blue Mountain, dominate it up, get an independent ball, and the next you're working your way up. But we'll stay on football real quick because I know we have some baseball stuff to talk about.
Two of the biggest stories of today was EA Sports and the NFL have agreed to a 5-year contract extension for the
It was
Madden
a lot of
game.
money. It was a lot of money.
Almost $2 billion will be freaking spent. Over $1 billion is going to the NFL owners, and over $500 million is going to the players. That is a lot of money.
So
for,
EA pays the NFL to
For the
use their
rights.
players and everything. That's crazy.
So $500 million would get divvied up between the players that are in the game, I believe.
So you get paid to be in the game.
Yeah.
Now I understand why NCAA didn't work out.
Now, the biggest news that I've heard today, and the news that scares me the most, is Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs have started negotiations.
Started negotiations.
And they're saying that this is going to be a deal like no other.
Unlike no other.
Now,
He's poised to become the highest paid player in NFL history.
Michael Lombardi was on the Fan today, and I love listening to him talk. And he
Michael
was saying,
Lombardi, isn't that... He's a coach, right?
no, he's
One of the Lombardi, either grandsons or kids, is a coach of the Saints.
yeah, could be.
No, I'm telling you.
Okay.
I
But
think he's a
this-
special teams coach.
Yeah, but this guy came out and said that Patrick Mahomes, he deserves everything he
He does.
gets. You know, if they give him $50 million, they give him $50 million. And then he got onto the Dak thing. They're saying, how does this affect Dak? And they're like, it shouldn't affect Dak. It really shouldn't.
He's not on Mahomes'
'Cause
level.
He's not. And then they asked the commentators that were on the Sean RJ show, would you trade Dak Prescott right now for Russell Wilson?
If he could.
And they both said, yeah. So
Like swap quarterbacks.
he said, if you would trade him, why would you pay him more than Russell? You know what I mean? If you'll take Russell Wilson for $35 million, why would
Why would Seattle do it?
Why would you pay Dak now more than Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Meaning
Does Seattle want Dak?
No.
No. I'm just saying that this is intriguing.
No. This was just a
I'd take
comparison.
Russell
Like if
Wilson.
you're willing to trade Dak Prescott right now for Russell Wilson, who
I'd do it
makes
in a heartbeat.
$35 million,
Doing a heartbeat.
why would you pay Dak more than Russell Wilson? Like Dak, to me, this is such crap. I'm so sick of this Dak stuff for the last 2 years. He's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback.
Well, I think what we keep coming to, and I think this is what Dallas knows too, is Dak is a good quarterback at the end of the day. He shows promise to be an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think he's better than Deshaun Watson right now. I don't think he's better than Patrick Mahomes right now. I don't think he's better than Russell Wilson right now. So why should he get paid the high? I wish I could ask him, why do you think, I know every player thinks they're the best player in the game. Stat-wise, why do you think you should get paid more than those guys?
It's the next man up mentality. They
know.
all, but this is where Michael Lombardi said the Cowboys have to stand firm because with the revenue and them losing money this year, he's saying the salary cap is going to actually drop next year and not go up. So you can't pay him like $40+ million next year, and it hits you hard with the cap because right now I think the Cowboys have like $35 million left in cap space.
I remember when Drew Brees sat out for a long time. I was so scared.
Yeah.
My thing too, you know what I'm hoping for? I'm hoping Dak says, screw it, I'm going to sit out. I'm not going to sign a franchise deal. I hope Andy Dalton comes out there and he takes you guys, not even to the Super Bowl, just he takes you 2 rounds deep in the playoffs, right? And Jerry Jones goes, you know what? We're going to sign this boy to a 2 to 3 year deal. Screw Dak Prescott. And he goes out there and eventually wins you a Super Bowl.
Well, he made an interesting point too. He said that you paid Dak the 31 this year, you pay him the 37 next year on the tag. Then it goes up to $53 million the following year. Everyone's saying if you do not get a deal done with Dak Prescott this year, you have to let him test the market. Because there's nobody out there right now that's going to pay him over $40 million.
I want to know if Dallas Cowboys go, you know what, Dak, go test free agency. If they already franchise tag him, can they still let him just go? Can they cut him?
Once he signs a franchise tag.
He hasn't signed it yet, though.
No, I know. If he signs he has to sign the franchise tag.
I wonder if Dallas was like, go test free agency, we're done with you.
They could next year.
I want to know who would pay more than Dallas is offering right now. Nobody.
First of all, who needs a quarterback? You think about it, besides Jacksonville, who needs a quarterback?
Let's see. Patriots need one, but don't have the money.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee has Tyrod Taylor and drafted their future quarterback. Colts have 2 quarterbacks.
Tennessee has who? Tannehill.
That's it, Tennessee?
Yeah.
I meant the Titans.
The Tennessee Titans. They have.
Not the Titans.
You're talking about the Chargers.
Chargers.
Yeah. See, that's what
I'm thinking of the Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
But
But I can't think of a team right now that needs a quarterback that would be willing to pay him over $40 million.
nobody would. And that's why he's. Listen, at the end of the day, I like Dak. I think he's a good quarterback. And I'm not even a Dallas fan. It's starting to annoy me. And we've had people on here, and I get it. You want to make money. But if a team is offering you $100 million, guaranteed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be paid more and more money every year. Your endorsements, like.
Well, if he plays the franchise tag the way he's playing it, he can get over $120 million guaranteed over a 3-year period. Because he'll get 31 this year, 37.
But you'll get $100 million guaranteed right now.
But I'm saying he'll get 31 this year, 37 next year, and then 53. The tag goes up.
It's just like I get annoyed talking about it because, you know, I'm not Dak. I don't know what he's thinking. But as a fan, I think you even see reporters, you know, people on ESPN saying, why is he, if this is the real deal they're offering him, why is he not taking? That's why people are concerned and saying they need to release the whole contract because they feel like something's missing.
Well, they're saying that the Joneses are actually aggravated with Dak and his agent.
I'd be aggravated too.
Last year when he started out 3-0, he threw 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. The agent came to Dallas and said, now this is what we want, and he raised the price as far as guarantee what he wanted. And the Cowboys felt like, you know what? Now you're trying to stick it to us. So the Dallas has a history of they don't sign guys under 4-year deals. You know, it's usually 5, 6.
Yeah, you want to lock him up. It's
Yeah.
a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think Dak needs to realize that. Stop being selfish. Your team is stacked.
Yeah,
Like, what are you waiting for?
I agree.
I just want to
agree.
like grab my throat, be like, bro. I get it. You know, I feel bad for him. His brother died. His mom's died. That's a lot of money.
It is.
Wouldn't it make him, besides like obviously when Patrick Mahomes signed a contract, wouldn't he be paid the highest NFL player in the NFL?
Right now, but the thing is they're waiting for Watson and they're waiting for Mahomes.
You're not as good as them.
He's never going to pass Mahomes. I can put him on the same level as Watson. What has Watson really done?
I honestly though, if I could pick, I'd rather have Watson than I think Watson can move better, and I think Watson has a better arm.
You know how I feel about running quarterbacks. Can't stand them.
But Watson's not like I'm just gonna run. Watson's a threat where he can throw the ball.
Well, we're going to see how good Watson is this year. You don't have the weapons this year. But my thing is...
with the Texans though, Brandon Cooks, Kenny Stills, and Will Fuller, you're not telling me that's a good wide receiver core?
I just... For Fuller, forget it, because he's never healthy. He's never played
But
a full season.
he was healthy
in his life.
last year.
He still was hurt. He never played a full season yet.
But Brandon Cooks and Kenny Stills, that's not bad.
Yeah.
It
but
could be worse there.
Yeah, I know. But my thing is Dak doesn't miss games. He's a solid quarterback as far as some stats. I mean, for every good stat, you can find bad ones. You're not the best quarterback in the league.
He's not. He's not the best player.
If you
in the
can't
league.
live off $35 million,
And I think that's why a lot of people are aggravated. You are not the best player in the league. Why should you be paid the best player in the league?
yeah. I think the Cowboys they just have to draw a line in the sand and say, you know what, this is it. This is what we offered you. If you don't, you're going to play on the franchise tag. We're going to franchise tag you next year, and then you can hit the free agency.
I would seriously, if I was Jerry Jones at this point, I'd be like, listen, Dak, either you take this contract or we're moving on. I would stick it to him. With how talented that team is, if you can't find a quarterback who can hand the ball off 30 times to Zeke and throw to all 3 of those receivers, then there's something wrong.
Well, he's got one of the toughest agents in the league with CAA. They do not negotiate well. They stand firm. They know the ball's in his court. He's in a win-win situation. Basically, he's going to get 31 this year, 37, and then the Cowboys are going to have to make a decision.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know. I just wanted to read off some little side notes here. You know, we were talking about Todd Gurley, Atlanta Falcons. Todd Gurley has there's video of him leg pressing with his bad knee. A lot of weight, so everyone's hoping that he's going to be recovering from that. I wish him the best. Stephon Diggs went one-on-one with Ocho Cinco and you know got away from him and caught a pass. It was kind of funny seeing Ocho Cinco play defensive back. AB was practicing routes, but what's weird about that is he was wearing his Raiders helmet and his Steelers pants. I want to know where he's going to go. Who was it? Was it...
I would take a chance on him. I really would.
Who just said they wanted him? Was it Tom Brady or was it someone? I forget who it was. But I was just thinking in my head, I was like, could you imagine Bill O'Brien made it happen in the Texans? AB. I mean, I really wish
he can still play.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely. He's still a top 10 receiver.
Yeah.
But we were talking about before the podcast
How safe is it that we're on all these electrical equipment and stuff around us, and we have headphones on and mics in our face, and just lightning bolts are going down outside?
I'm guessing if lightning comes through our window somehow, then we deserve
You
to
guys
die.
might witness something live right here on the air.
We were talking about how Hopkins was on a podcast, and you know people were asking about what do you think about Michael Thomas? You know, thinking he's the number 1 receiver, and I like what he says. You know, like he comes out and he says, "Listen, I like Michael Thomas, I like Julio Jones because those are the guys they were talking about." He's like, "Those are my boys. I work out with them. We practice together." He said, "But these boys know they've been blessed. Michael Thomas and Julio Jones have had Pro Bowl quarterbacks their whole life.
He's had 10 different
He's like,
quarterbacks in his career.
he's like, Watson has been the best quarterback I've had so far. He's like, but besides that, who have I had?" And I said, that's right. You know, I gave it to him. He's put up great numbers with no-name quarterbacks.
10 quarterbacks he's had in his career.
I think those are your top 3 receivers right there: Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, and Hopkins. I think those are the top 3 receivers. I don't know what the order is. I think that's a deep conversation you can get into another podcast.
They all do different things.
Yeah, they do. They do. You easily could say that.
Because Julio Jones doesn't score a lot of touchdowns.
I think Hopkins is more of a deep threat out of them two.
Yeah. Julio Jones doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. I think actually Des Bryant had more touchdowns than him.
I want to say Thomas is more physical, but I think Julio is more like Julio, his tiptoes, his vertical.
I think the best hands of them all and the best route running of them all is is Hopkins.
It's tough.
It's Hopkins.
It's tough. I felt bad for him the first. Don't look at me like that. I felt bad. You know what's funny is last year, because you know how like 2 years ago he didn't drop one pass, and then the first game against the Saints, how they showed his like video, how he was like, "These are my career goals. This my goals this year. I'm not gonna drop one pass." And his first 2 passes he dropped. So I was like, "Well, that goal's out."
Well, NFL.com came out with his bold projections for the 2020 season, and the number 9 projection is Charger safety Darwin James will win the Defensive Player of the Year award. Okay.
I don't know.
Number 8, Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford would lead the NFL in passing yards. I could see that. I really can.
I want him either to win for the Lions. I don't like Patricia as a head coach. I like Patricia, but I think if they have a 7-9 year again this year, I think he's gone. I wish Matthew Stafford would go to a different team already, like Jacksonville or somebody, and win.
I'm going to tell you what, though. Before Stafford got hurt, they were really throwing that ball around. They had great numbers. They were putting up points. The defense, they still need work on the defense.
Oh, you lost Slay. I mean, you
But they got Kenny Galladay, they got Marvin Jones, they got Danny Amendola, and they got T.J. Hawkinson.
and then they have that might be the tight end you just named, but he was a first round pick, and he did not live up to the hype last year. So they're hoping that he does this year. But go ahead and continue with that list.
Then they got They just got DeAndre Swift in the second round.
Yes.
So he's going to be a steal for them. Number 7, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster will dominate once again, which I can see.
I don't know.
I can see. He's
I
going
don't
to have
know.
a quarterback.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I like Juju a lot. I do. I just don't know how he's going to be with the number. I don't know. I'm excited to watch the Steelers. I am. Go ahead.
What's the second option there for the Steelers as far as receivers?
James Washington. He's not bad. I think he had like 700 receiving yards last year, but I don't know. I think Juju was good as a secondary slot guy. I think when you had Antonio Brown was fast enough and good enough to get open with double coverage, but it gave Juju so many options. But I don't know. Go ahead.
Number 6, Patrick Mahomes will throw for 51 touchdown passes.
Wow.
Now, he threw 50 already 2 years ago.
His rookie year. Not technically his rookie year, but his first year as a starter.
51 is going to be tough.
If you could throw 50, that's a lot of touchdowns.
That is.
That's like Madden touchdowns.
He has the weapons to do it, but they're saying 50. He had 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards in the second season, which is when he won the MVP. I think he can do it. Number 5, and I agree with this 100%. The Seattle Seahawks will miss the playoffs.
I don't know. I think Russell Wilson always sneaks in there somehow.
I just think, like I said before in several of these podcasts, last year they went 9-1 in games where there was a touchdown or less that they won. That could easily flip. You lose half of them. You know, I see it this year.
I think Russell Wilson's good. I think they have a good young defense. It's just I don't really know how many wide receiver help they have. Oh, they got Philip Dorsett. That's his name from the Patriots.
He's been around now.
Yes, but I don't know. I think Russell Wilson. I picture Russell Wilson as a Drew Brees. Not even because I'm a Saints fan. As you think about 3-4 years ago when Drew Brees didn't have a defense or that much help, how he threw for like a lot of passing yards, 5,000 passing yards. He had to put up 20 or more points a game to win.
Yeah.
And they somehow always found ways to sneak in the playoffs. And you almost see that with Russell Wilson, that he never has. You don't really know people in Seattle. Mm-hmm. But somehow he manages to make things happen.
Well,
puts up the
he's
point.
a great
He's
quarterback.
Good. He puts points up. And then he gets to the playoffs. I don't know. I don't think you could rule them out.
This is my favorite.
That's probably something I got the Saints.
This is my favorite. Now that the clapper is gone, the coach of the year will be Mike McCarthy, and he will take the Cowboys to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. I can see
In the NFC?
Yeah.
In the NFC?
In the NFC,
In the
number
NFC.
1 seed.
In the NFC.
With all those weapons, you never know.
You're talking about your division or the NFC?
The NFC.
So,
Should I spell it for you?
NFC. So
number 1 seed.
your Dallas Cowboys are going to be better than Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Definitely.
The New Orleans Saints.
Definitely. The New Orleans Slants.
The Packers? They're going to be better than the Packers?
Packers are going downhill. There's too much drama up there. Rodgers is going to have a bad year because he's got too much pressure on him now.
I wish I knew more NFC teams.
Let's get off of this because,
But I don't think Dallas would be the best one.
Number 3, the Jets quarterback Sam Darnold will become a star. I can agree with that.
Joe Flacco said he's willing to mentor him, but he still wants to be a starter somewhere.
This is going to be a shocker. Raiders running back Josh Jacobs will win the rushing title.
Listen, I'm hoping for good things over there.
I don't
man.
think they have the line for him to do that.
Listen, I wish the best for Derek Carr. We listened to the podcast with Pat McAfee and Jordy Nelson, who does not do interviews, and they asked Jordy Nelson, is it true, there's a lot of rumors, obviously, that Derek Carr, not a good quarterback, that they don't have a good, and he said, listen, it's not real. Derek Carr is a very smart guy. If you knew Gruden's playbook, you have to be smart
Yeah, I heard about that.
to know that playbook. He said, you think about when I played with the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers, me and Randall Cobb were there for 8 years. So you have 8 years to form chemistry with your quarterback. Derek Carr hasn't had a wide receiver that he could build chemistry for maybe more than 3 years. He said when he got there, Amari got traded. Another guy got traded, and him and 3 other guys, it was their first year there. He's on a complete cycle of new coordinators, new wide receivers. See that lightning?
Wait for it.
He says, how are you supposed to build chemistry on such a hard
Yeah.
playbook? You have to wait for these rookies to adapt to this playbook. He said Derek Carr can spin it. He's a very good quarterback. He's a very smart quarterback. Him and Gruden get along. He said they're just waiting for the good wide receivers to get there.
My thing is, though, is you're putting Josh Jacobs ahead of names like Christian McCaffrey, Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, and Nick Chubb. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to make a projection. I already said.
Yeah, but you got to think of NFC and AFC.
I already said Arizona. Arizona is going to win the NFC West. Okay? I'm going to say Saquon Barkley leads the league in rushing.
I don't think so.
I say it because offensive coordinator Jason Garrett's going there. They
He likes
love
to
to
run.
run the ball. That is going to be a run-first team. And I think Saquon, with the line that they have, I think he's going to average over 100, easily 105.
What is it, Brandon
100.
Jacobs you said? What's his name?
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs.
I
Think about it, he had a good rookie year.
I think
And then he got
Saquon is
slowed
going to
down.
average 105, 110 yards a game.
I hope so, man. I think Saquon is almost in a prove-it year. I don't know. I just feel like he hasn't. I
And
don't know.
this is the one that I've been saying this for a while. The number one projection of the 2020 season is the Patriots will collapse to get a top 5 pick in the 2021 draft. And I say they're going to take Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is going to be the quarterback of the New England Patriots next year.
Could you imagine Brian Hoyer stepped in that starter spot and took that team to the playoffs?
Never happening.
But what's that guy's name? Stiffman? They like him. They like him.
Stidham.
They like him. But I don't know. I don't think the Patriots will collapse. I think that they still have a great defense. No one left there that I know of. But I don't know. Let's get into some. Oh, I just wanted to read this Baker Mayfield thing real quick before we get off NFL. Baker Mayfield, obviously a hype guy, talked a lot of crap last year. The Browns, a lot of people were on the hype of the Browns. Browns going to win the Super Bowl. Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Njoku, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, all these defensive weapons. This is going to be the team that win the Super Bowl. There was a lot of talk. Nothing happened. I think they went 6-10, 7-9, something like that. Didn't do that great. Baker Mayfield has declined multiple interviews this offseason. He's turned down them. He's moving in silence. He said it is
about
time to work and do our thing. He
It's
said
about
right now.
time.
He said, right now it's moving in silence.
It's time to shut up and play.
He said, that's how I used to do before getting on a bigger stage. You get back to the fundamentals where I can accomplish. He talked about in the interview how he feels like they talked a lot about last season. Nothing happened.
I could see them sneaking into the playoffs somehow, some way, since they expanded the playoffs. I can see them sneaking.
I
in.
like this move by Mayfield because you think about Mayfield, busting beer cans on his head at Indians games, a loud talker. But you think about Baker Mayfield, a walk-on, in his college career, he wins the Heisman at Oklahoma, becomes the number 1 overall pick of 2018 draft, 93.7 QB rating in 14 appearances, leading the Browns to 5-2 record in the final 7 games, and I think that was his rookie year. This guy can play. Everyone wants to shoot this guy down. I'm a big Baker Mayfield fan. I know he didn't have that good of a year last year. They're building that offensive line. He still has some good offensive weapons. I'm predicting that team will either slide into the wild card or win that division.
All right, let's jump in a little bit of basketball real quick. Silva came out today and said that the NBA is looking for a July 31st start time. There are 3 different options: 16 teams directly to the playoffs, a 20-team group stage play, almost like the World Cup, and then 22 games to determine seeding in a tournament for the final seeds. They also want to play. I think they want to get to the 72-game mark. I think it's like 4 or 5 more games, and then jump into a play-in tournament. A lot of teams are starting to speak out now saying that they don't have a chance to get into the playoffs, so they don't want to come back and play. It's not worth it. Michael Jordan's coming out and saying that health is more important than the coming back and play meaningless basketball. So I think that's why the NBA is now digging for solutions to get every team to come back, where they have some kind of a tournament where they get in.
I agree with that, though. If you're last year division, why risk your players?
Another thing that they're complaining about is they're supposed to play in Orlando or they're supposed to play in Vegas. Orlando right now doesn't have enough 5-star hotels to keep all these teams. So you're having players already complaining about one team's going to be in a 5-star hotel. We're going to be in like a La Quinta or a Red Roof Inn.
I wouldn't care.
Exactly. And another concern of the Players Association is the Kawasaki disease, the side effects from the COVID-19 that is actually affecting young kids now. They don't want to get infected, and then they end up infecting their families.
Yeah,
I seriously don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know if basketball is going to come back or whatever, but hockey is doing the same thing. They're coming back. They're going to do a 24-team tournament, I believe, a playoff. I just hope someone will make up their mind soon.
Yeah. I know the 76ers reopened their New Jersey practice facility.
Dallas Mavericks opened yesterday. Facilities are opening, but it's only voluntarily to come in and practice if you want to.
I'd go.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about New Jersey. I just want to say a quick thing I forgot to say is that Las Vegas is predicting Derek Carr not to be there in the 2021 season, just so you know.
I can see that. John Gruden doesn't have patience for quarterbacks. MLB news. And talking about disgusting, we were talking about earlier, you have millionaires and billionaires battling it out. Now, once again, baseball is hanging on by a whim. They're running out of time, basically, because they have to get into a spring training. And they're saying if they don't have a deal before the second week of June, baseball could be on the verge of not coming back this year.
The new
proposal by the owners have the highest paid players taking the biggest pay cuts. So players that would be making like $35 million, like a Trout, would end up only making $7 million for the season. 65% of the players will make $1 million or under that this year. Now, the Players Association countered. They came back and said, look, we're willing to play a 100-game season, and you give us the 50-50 split that they were talking about earlier, where they're going to get their paid cut, but they're going to get paid for the amount of games they're playing. They got to make a decision soon. They're running out of time, and I'm getting sick and tired of hearing about it. Let's play. Baseball is probably the easiest thing that they can do. You easily can socially distance on the field. You're socially distanced in the clubhouse or on the bench. They're saying no mound visits. No seeds, no spitting, the whole 9 yards. So baseball can come back.
I don't even know what to think about this because I get it from both sides.
Just prorate their freaking salaries and let's play.
I get it. Like, as a baseball player, like, you want to make the money that you already signed up for, and they're cutting a lot of it. I get it. Like, I guess I was actually looking at the diagram they came out with. Like, if you made like $30 million, like, you were only gonna make like $7 million. I get it. Like, I'd be a little frustrated too, but $7 million is still a lot of dollars for us. I don't know about them, but at the same time, it's like for fans like us, we want baseball. It's such a split thing, and I know that they keep going back and forth. I know Max Scherzer is like on the players like board, so he's like there for the meetings.
Yeah,
and like I know that they offered a deal, and then the players came out and offered a deal, and it just keeps going back and forth. I don't think that.
Well, Scott Boras, who's a super agent, came out and said that the players should stand their ground and not take the deal. The owners can get money from other places.
I saw that. I saw Trevor Bauer roasting him.
And Trevor Bauer told him to basically shut his mouth. It's getting ugly, and the problem is they're fighting over money.
They should do.
At a
You know what they should
going
do?
through all this.
They should do like how in the NFL when there's a strike, like minor league players will come out and play, but like not minor league players, but players will come and play.
Mm-hmm.
They just be like, listen, if you don't want to play, you won't get paid this year.
Yeah.
We'll go and bring minor leaguers up who will play for $1 million.
Because minor leaguers are losing their jobs. There's teams cutting minor leaguers.
Yeah,
David Price just came out and said any
gonna,
Dodger player in the minors that gets cut, he is going to pay them $1,000, I think a month. Is it a month? Or
I don't know.
He's going to pay him $1,000 until the end of June, which is
it's
amazing.
not a lot, but I mean,
it's
it's
better
blessed,
than nothing. I mean, these guys are losing their careers over this.
And
then you have guys who are making $35 million a year who aren't hurting that are fighting.
You tell me like a Mark Scherzer, they go, we're not playing this year. You're not telling me that there wouldn't be a minor leaguer that would say, I'll come and play in the pros for $500,000. For $200,000, they'd probably play for $100,000 to come and play. I'm just telling you, I don't think it's going to get done. I don't think we're going to have baseball this year.
No.
I don't. And as sad as that is to say, I don't think it's going to happen. I know NHL's opening up again, and the Flyers are in that. Yeah, I'm excited.
It's 24 teams. I mean, we need to get some kind of sports. I'm running out of things to do. I mean, I'm ready to line ants up outside with sugar cubes and make them race.
What's weird with the NHL is there's no like a spring training or games. Like they're going right into it. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a little like think about it for a second. Like they've been off for a while. Like hopefully they've been practicing. But that's a little interesting there. But I'm excited for stuff to open up. UFC is still happening. Conor McGregor's going to fight Silva, which is just a little weird. Mike Tyson is ripped, and he might fight Tyson Fury. I mean, could you imagine having the chance to fight somebody you watched growing up dominate people?
The Tyson Fury fight, though, it might just be a charity thing.
So what? Honestly, would you be upset if Mike Tyson knocked you out?
No,
I'd be laughing.
There's promoters out there right now that are saying that they are willing to sign Mike Tyson to a long-term deal to have him come back and fight.
What was it? Was it 10 million or 30 million?
I don't know, but they're saying he's in good shape.
Did you see that picture? How fat he was?
He was on wrestling the other night, and he actually was on AEW wrestling where he came down and got into a little fisticuff with Jericho, and he ripped his shirt off like Hulk Hogan and was standing there all
He looks
flexed.
good.
Yeah, he's ripped.
He's ripped. He would knock somebody out.
Evander Holyfield is actually training.
He looks good too.
Yeah, so it's going to be cool to see.
I just don't want one of these guys to have a heart attack.
Yeah. The Conor McGregor thing is interesting. Anderson Silva said he would fight him. It would be a catch weight at 175 pounds. The only thing is Dana White came out and said, no, we're not sure about that yet. My boy Cody Gerhardt's coming back to fight.
I like Cody.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the whole Silva and Conor. I think Conor is still in prime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he should fight Silva.
Yeah.
I think he should fight someone good.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't someone who has a title offer to fight for the title?
Yeah.
I don't like that fight. I think they could do better. I think Dana White can do better. I think he knows that.
One interesting note, I heard this story and it was awesome because I listened to 105.3 The Fan. And they were talking about Pudge Rodriguez back in 1997 before he had all of his good years. The Yankees in Texas were actually working a deal to send Pudge Rodriguez to the Yankees for Jorge Posada, who was a backup at the time behind Guidry.
Rodriguez was a catcher, right?
Girardi.
Rodriguez was a catcher, right?
Yeah.
He got the Hall of Fame, right?
Pugs is awesome, man.
He's in the Hall of Fame, isn't he?
He came to the Yankees late anyway, but they were going to trade him to the Yankees for Posada because Posada was a backup. The pitchers on the team at the time didn't like Posada, they didn't care for him. The deal was done. I guess Texas was offering.
Was Joe Girardi going to be the backup, or was this Rodriguez going to be the starter?
He was the starter. Girardi was the starter. Now you're confusing me. Texas was offering Pudge $35 million. He wanted $41 million. So he had his plane ticket in his hand. They were already getting ready to do the press conference, the whole 9 yards. The Yankees were giving up a minor leaguer plus Posada. And then Pudge said, nope, I don't want to go. He's like, I see what's going on in Texas here. I see where we're going. Let's work this out. And there was already a press release. Bob Watson had the press release ready to go. The deal was done. Wow. And Pudge went into the office and said, let's work this out. And they came up with a deal. He said, meet me halfway. And they decided on $40 million, and he stayed in Texas.
Wow.
Interesting. Another tidbit.
That's good. That's good.
Back in the day when you had the worst record and you had the number one pick, it always rotated between American and National, who picked that year. Well, back in 1986, the Pirates had the worst record in baseball, and they could have got Ken Griffey Jr., but since it was the American League's team to pick first, they didn't get him. They could have had Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., and I think Bobby Bonilla as their outfielders back in 1987.
Wow. That's like the one time I saw like early in Mike Trout's career, the Angels offered Mike Trout to the Yankees. I forget the deal. It was like two of our big starters that we have now. But at the time, obviously, they didn't know who Mike Trout was going to become. And now you sit back and you're like, oh my gosh, they should have pulled the trigger. But could you imagine Mike Trout right now being a Yankee who grew up in Jersey?
Well, they're saying that Alex Rodriguez, too, was supposed to be a Dodger. But since the Dodgers got screwed out of that pick because of the rotation of how and they changed that now. They don't do it anymore. He ended up in Seattle. That's crazy.
And they went to Texas. Well, he played a little bit with Griffey.
And then the Yankees.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got today. We hope you guys enjoyed it. It's starting to rain. We will get this up right now after this. YouTube will be up always the day after on Saturday. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Boom. That's all I have to say.
Everyone stay safe. The coronavirus is still going on. Stay safe. Hopefully this world turns around and it doesn't continue to be ugly. And we'll keep giving you this content. Might not be the best, but this is probably the best father and son duo out there on the podcast land.
At least in the Lehigh Valley. Hope you guys have a good one. We'll see you.
Peace.